What's up, YouTube? This is Wawa Echo. My name is Zach, and I'm here for the Smackdown Survey for March 13th, 2018, and this is the Smackdown that follows the Fastlane pay-per-view. And I have a separate video dedicated to this sort of announcement, but I am going to go ahead and say it in this one because we have the fallout. We have a lot of things that come from Fastlane and head into WrestleMania on this night, and I just want to say that Parker and I mutually agreed that we would not cover Fastlane the same way we do other pay-per-views, and that was because it really was unimportant. It just honestly, they should have left out Elimination Chamber. Like, that was important. But they should have just had Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, which I heard they might be doing next year. That'd be exciting. But honestly, Fastlane just wasn't like hyped up as much. And even after looking back, like, it doesn't seem it doesn't seem like, I mean, we were right. It wasn't amazing or even really kind of good, to be honest. But anyway, I do want to cover a few things. We did see a few very, very unimportant matches, like a tag team match that had Mojo Rawley and some other people, Todd Dillinger. Whatever. I think that may have been the pre-show. I'm not sure if we even had a pre-show. But we also had Nakamura defeating Rusev, and that was actually a really good match. I did watch the highlights of that match, and it looked like it was really good. You also had Randy Orton defeating Bobby Roode for the United States Championship. And congratulations to Randy Orton for now being a Grand Slam champion. That is the title that he needed. I wish they had a better build up to it and like hyped it up as this is Randy Orton's like chance to become a Grand Slam champion, and maybe even had him fail the first time and then win it at WrestleMania, because Randy Orton's my dude. In fact, you can barely see it, but there's a calendar behind me, and it's one of those WWE calendars. And this month is Randy Orton month, so that's also interesting. Grand Slam champion, month of March being Randy Orton. Whatever. But anyway, so big congrats to him. Glad he's earned that, and so I'm glad he got it. We also saw Charlotte Flair defeat Ruby Riott in what seemed to be a really good match. People enjoyed it. I didn't really watch it, but I'm sure it was really good. But then we also saw AJ Styles retain his title in a six-pack challenge in a really good match. Of course, that was very action-packed. So enough about Fastlane. We're here tonight. We're looking towards the WrestleMania. And so everything tonight was important, or at least should have been important and should have been set up as such, because we are heading into WrestleMania. You want to make the most of every minute, and so in order to do that here, we need to go ahead and get into the show itself. We start out with AJ Styles. He comes out and he cuts a promo on how he would not believe that he would be walking into WrestleMania as WWE Champion, and how like his dream has come true, and how this seemed like it was unbelievable but not impossible, and it was really good. It was a feel-good moment from AJ Styles. However, I'm a little biased about this, but like when you look at AJ Styles, you got to say, come on, man! Like, he's just really being kind of humble, because I mean, he's one of the best. So it's really not like unbelievable. But I'm glad that this is happening, and I'm glad that the dream match is happening, and so he does kind of hype that up as well. Nakamura comes out. He's talking about how his dream is to be champion, and so he will be champion at WrestleMania, and he'll need to face. And then the promo is cut off by Rusev, who comes out, and it sets up a match between Rusev and Styles, because we got Rusev and Nakamura at Fastlane. So I'm gonna give that promo an up because it was very short. It was what was needed. It was sort of this feel good moment again, like I said, for Styles, and it hypes up the Styles Nakamura match at WrestleMania. Then we go into Rusev versus Styles, and this was actually quite fast paced. But this was some back and forth action, and Rusev just played up this heel type character, and I'm really wish they wouldn't do this because Rusev Day is so over. But I've just kind of accepted that this is. I mean, I don't want to accept it, but like, if this is what WWE is doing, you can't really change it. But Rusev still is good, and Styles is good, so that made this match really good. A couple of memorable moments for me was there was one kick that Rusev did to Styles, and it just looked like, I mean, it looked stiff as heck, and it knocked Styles immediately down, and then Styles came back with the Pele kick, and he hit, I don't even know what the move is called, where he does him in a fireman's carry, and then he flips him over and hits his knee onto the back of his head. That was really interesting. I know Rusev isn't that much bigger, but like just the agility that he still was able to do that with was like nothing. But then the ending came, and it really kind of upset me because I felt like a match of this type, or a match that was this good, should have just been left as is and just a decisive winner. But Aiden English comes in and attacks AJ Styles as he has the calf crusher on Rusev, and Styles picks up the DQ victory. Okay, I guess playing more up that English and Rusev, or Rusev, their heel, but okay, I'm not. It's not going to be just the ending is not going to overshadow the match itself. I am going to give everything an up just because the match was that good and I enjoyed it. It was really good, and it seemed like Styles and Rusev didn't even need like this build up. Like Nakamura and Rusev didn't really have much of a build up, but the match itself spoke that it just spoke volumes of who they are. So anyway. Let's move on. And backstage, as you know, we don't usually always talk about backstage segments, or all of them, because usually they just kind of lead to something else down in the card or whatever. But I really loved this so much. Like there was this mark inside of me that came out when I saw this happening. Big E was being interviewed in the back, and he was talking about how Xavier Woods and I forgot to mention this actually in the beginning, but during the New Day versus Usos match at Fastlane, they were attacked by the Bludgeon Brothers, and the Bludgeon Brothers killed everyone. It was fantastic. But Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston did not make it to SmackDown, and so Big E was talking about how they'll get back at him, like they'll heal up, they'll be fine. But then Jimmy Uso comes up to him and says, "Hey, like they got my brother too, so how about you and I we go fight them and we try to get redemption." And there was just this respect between the two, that like these longtime rivals, they have just they're the two top teams. I think I just can't think of another one, of another team that has the sort of chemistry. It's almost like back in the day, the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian and Dudley's. They always had this chemistry every time they were either in the ring, cutting a promo, or fighting each other, whatever. They always had this chemistry, and I think the New Day and Usos definitely have that. And so there's this mutual respect, and you see it playing out here, and it's really good because they're not just clashing either. They have each other's backs, and so it was nice. I am going to give this an up. Surprisingly, I don't, like I said, I don't really give segments, backstage segments or interviews that are that short an up. But just because I loved this and what it meant for these two, I wanted to go ahead and give them an up. But then it did lead to obviously Jimmy Uso and Big E facing off against the Bludgeon Brothers. And let me tell you, this is exactly what I've been talking about is needed with the Bludgeon Brothers. They've needed to dominate, and they've needed to kill every opponent they've been facing, because they've been facing local talent. But then whenever they got to the actual competition, they didn't need to dominate as much, but they still needed to be dominating. And this is exactly, I think this was gold, the way that they did it, because it looked like Jimmy Uso and Big E had a chance. I mean, it looked like half a chance, but it was a chance. And so they were fighting, and they put up their defenses and were really going at it. But still, yet the Bludgeon Brothers just killed them. And so I did like this. I like the way this was set up. I like the way this was done. And so I'm going to give this a huge up. Just fantastic job. I can't wait to see what they have for these teams later on. Next, we have an in-ring segment between Charlotte Flair, who starts out, and then Asuka comes in, and they have this face-off, and pretty much like, oh, I'm better, bow down to me, whatever. I'm the Empress. I bow down to no one. Charlotte says something like, "You're gonna bow down to the Queen," and you like, I wanted this competition, and Asuka says, "I want this competition," whatever. First off, my main problem is that Asuka can't cut a promo worth anything. And if you've seen any Raw rundowns that Parker has done, he would absolutely agree. Asuka is, in some cases, she doesn't need to, because she just needs to say a few words and then she's out. In this case, though, it was a face-off, and it would just come off. She yelled every word she says, and she does this every time. She yells every word she says, and it's annoying. And she can't speak English that well. And I'm not. That's not a knock on her, but I'm saying like it just doesn't work the same way it does with Nakamura. Like you could tell he doesn't speak English very well, but he doesn't say a lot. And what he does is he makes it very effective with emotions. She has no emotions. But anyway, also speaking of Nakamura, you know, this kind of reminded me of what they're doing with Styles and Nakamura. They're not getting physical. They're saving the physicality from WrestleMania. There's this general respect for the between the two, that sort of has some underlying heat to it, like tension. And Nakamura and Styles has that. Asuka and Charlotte don't. They have this respect for each other, but like it's just not working. It's not the same. When Nakamura and Styles are in the same building, they get cheered. And when Asuka and Charlotte are in the same very ring, it just doesn't click. Like I don't know what you do to build this match up for WrestleMania. I don't know where to go from here, but this isn't it. Down. Sorry. Our next match that we will cover is Jinder Mahal facing off against Bobby Roode. I think Randy Orton comes out and he cuts a promo about winning the U.S. Championship. He says that no one's ever called, they've called him a lot of things, but not U.S. Champion. And again, congrats. I'm glad, even though it was weird timing, I'm glad that it happened. But then this match happened. Um, don't care for it. Don't care for either one of these guys. We've seen this kind of match before. We're gonna keep seeing, like, just like on Raw, we see Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz constantly going at it in some variety of match. Just like we'll have these three in some variety of match, and it's nothing we can do about it, I guess. But Jinder Mahal unfortunately picked up the victory when Bobby Roode was distracted by the Singh brother. So the same old crap. Yep, same old down. Tired of seeing that. But anyway, I'm just not even. Well, although I will say the one good thing about what happened is after the match, Randy Orton hit Mahal with an RKO, and he actually was standing tall to end the segment, which it's been Jinder Mahal for so many weeks now. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Anyway, so the next match that follows is also another uninteresting match between Carmella and Naomi, and the match was brief, fast paced. Naomi won. I mean, not Naomi. Carmella won. I think that was the right choice because she's missed Money in the Bank, and if she's going to be cashing in relatively soon, regardless of what Vince says, Vince thinks that every Money in the Bank winner should just have this losing streak up until they cash in. But I do think there needs to be some sort of legitimacy, and so Carmella winning was the right decision. But the match was unimportant. It was random, thrown in there, so it's getting it down. Um, so before we talk about what happened in the very last segment, I do want to talk about two segments that happened beforehand. Again, backstage promos that I don't usually cover, but that led to this main event segment. There was Sami Zayn who cut a promo on Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens and how he's constantly getting screwed over, and then Kevin Owens pretty much does the same type of promo, except he says Sami Zayn wouldn't have been screwed over if he didn't join with Kevin Owens because he wouldn't have even been in the title picture because Kevin Owens has made Sami Zayn who he is now, and so there's this sort of tension, still playing between the two, but their main focus is Shane McMahon. I want to give an up to both of these guys for their promo work because it was just backstage promos, but it was intense, and you could see the emotion inside of them and the anger and frustration. So well done. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed both of those very much. But then Shane McMahon comes out at the very end of SmackDown, and he has this major announcement. His big announcement, let's just cut to the chase, is that he is stepping down temporarily, or we assume temporarily, as commissioner. And so he says that he's going to take a leave of absence and that Daniel Bryan is going to be left in charge up until WrestleMania, and it's all in his hands. So, uh, man, I don't know what to think about this because honestly, like he tried to play off the whole promo as if like he's supposed to be get some sympathy, like he's supposed to be sympathetic, or we're supposed to be sympathetic with him. But and yeah, he was trying to like avenge his father, but like really, let's be honest, it's months and months and months of just screw over after screw over after screw over, and no sympathy was given to Shane McMahon for just Shane McMahon's announcement, let's just cut to the chase, is that he's stepping down as commissioner of SmackDown for an unknown amount of time. I don't recall that he said an amount of time. But however, he is stepping down and he's giving Daniel Bryan full control. And he does mention that at least WrestleMania will be all Daniel Bryan. And so this was interesting, an interesting sort of decision to make, I guess, or whatever. You're finally realizing that hey, like you've done wrong all this time, so you're stepping down. All right, I'll commend you for that. Good job. But then Kevin Owens comes out, and then Sami Zayn comes out, and they start pretty much berating Shane McMahon, and then they attack Shane McMahon, and they don't just attack Shane McMahon; they murder Shane McMahon, and I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, I mean, they I think he hit a haluva kick inside the ring, and then they got outside the ring. They put a chair around his neck, Shane's neck, and like threw him up against the ring post like Owens did Jericho a couple years ago, and then they drug his body to the back, and he had a power bomb on this case or whatever, equipment case, and it just looked painful. I'm telling you, like this, I get that this dude can take a bump, but he's old as heck. Like his body's gonna be hating him. But anyway, I do think that the beat up was really it was good in the sense that like it was like holy crap, like it was you were sitting on the edge of your seat like goodness, like what can they do besides literally shoot the guy 50 times. But at the same time it didn't come off like I think WWE wanted it to. I think they wanted us to give more sympathy to Shane McMahon. However, this is the same man who's been screwing over, purposely screwing over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn time and time again, and not even in favor of a face. He's just against these two. And I get that it's kind of started with his dad and with Vince and Owens, but like it's really just progressed to that, and it's just Shane McMahon screwing them over time and time again. So the only reason I'm even sympathetic for him is because he's an old man. He shouldn't be taking bumps like that. But at the same time, like who can say that he doesn't deserve that? And and that's pretty sad to say, but like I mean, just seriously, like in character, who's to say that he doesn't deserve that? But anyway, but then again, it also is confusing because Sammy and Kevin they got their wish. Like he stepped down as commissioner. So what was the point of beating him up to make sure he stays out longer? So I don't get the point of the beat up if he it was gonna leave anyway. So like, hey, you got your wish. But regardless of those minute sort of nitpicks, I will just give this segment, the whole thing, an up because it was well crafted, it was well done, it was enjoyable in the sense that it made you think like this is crazy, and that that there has to be some like it's very serious. And so, what this means for WrestleMania, I don't know what this even means for next week. It's going to be interesting how they address it next week. If Vince comes back and addresses it, or if they just have Daniel Bryan address it, whatever. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But that's SmackDown for the post Fastlane SmackDown for March 13th, 2018. That's all I have. The ups do win. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you saw something that I may have missed, if you disagree with me, or if you just really agree with me, hit leave a comment. We'd like to see those, and we'll comment back. In order not to miss our content, hit that subscribe button. We would very much appreciate that. Thank you very, very much for watching. I have been Zach from Wild Echo, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.